And welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, flying solo today on our final preview before Ohio State takes on Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Looking forward to that football game tomorrow afternoon. Let's just dive right into this final preview and get you all ready for the big game tomorrow. It's going to start at 4 o'clock. That's the kickoff, 4 o'clock tomorrow. A little bit different start time there. Usually they're noon, 3:30 or 7:30. 4 o'clock kick. It is on Fox. So if you do not have, if you're not able to go to the football game, that is, you can watch it on Fox. So that is where the football game is going to be played, the channel it's going to be played on. Let's take a look a little bit at Ohio State's background in playing Conference USA teams. Of course, Western Kentucky is in the Conference USA, and we have played quite a few teams who, at one point or another, were members of the Conference USA. However, we've only played 6 teams while they were in the Conference USA. And actually, out of those 6 games, one of those teams we played 3 times, that being in Cincinnati in 1999, 2002, and 2004. Of course, the 2002 game was the close one, a 23-19 victory that was played at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati in that national championship 2002 run. In the year 2012, we actually played two games against teams from Conference USA, UCF and UAB, both of which are no longer in Conference USA. And then a couple years ago in 2019, Florida Atlantic came to the shoe. That was a 45-21 win in what was Justin Fields' first game as a Buckeye, as I recall. So little history there with Conference USA teams. Now let's take a look at what we've done against teams from the state of Kentucky. 5 games. Of course, the first 3 were against UK. Look at that score all the way back in 1895. Ohio State 8, Kentucky 6. 1919, 49-0 blowout. A little bit closer, 1935, 19-6 was that score. 1991, we played Louisville. That was a 23-15 win. 1992, we barely squeaked out that victory. 20-19, one Kirk Herbstreit was the quarterback for Ohio State in 1992, as I recall. Let's take a quick look now at some statistics here because, believe it or not, this game there's a lot of interesting things about this game statistically. Let's take a look at Ohio State first. Of course, Kyle McCord was indeed named the starter on Tuesday during Ryan Day's press conference with the media. He's 34-53 passing so far in 2 games, 497 total passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. Leading rusher so far this year is Travion Henderson. He's carried the football 17 times through 2 games, just over 100 yards at 103 and a pair of scores. Leading the way in the receiving department, of course, is Marvin. That would be Marvin Harrison, not Henderson, excuse me. Marvin Harrison Jr., my apologies. 9 receptions for 178 yards and 2 scores so far, both of them coming last week in the game against Youngstown State. On the defensive side of things, Steele Chambers actually leads the team in total tackles right now at 11. He's just ahead of his linebacker running mate Tommy Eichenberg, who's at 10, if I'm not mistaken. But Eichenberg is tied with Michael Hall Jr., as well as backup defensive tackle Hero Canoe, all of which have 1 sack. No sack from defensive ends as of yet this season. We do have 1 interception that came last week against the Penguins. Denzel Burke, who has just done phenomenal job at the cornerback position through the first 2 games. He had a great interception last week. And then there's been 1 forced fumble. We didn't recover it. It was actually recovered by Youngstown State last week, but it was on the sack that Tommy Eichenberg had. He does have 1 forced fumble. Easy enough for me to say. In the kicking department, Jaden Felding is 3 for 3. with field goals with a long of 40, and he's 7 of 7 on extra points. As a team, here are some interesting statistics. Total yards per game, Ohio State's at 431, and that's good enough for 52nd in college football. So just a little over the halfway mark there. We got to improve on that. Here's where we are struggling immensely. Third down conversion percentage. Not good. 114th in college football. Guys, that's just not going to cut it. We got to get better at that. Inside the red zone, we're 833. Again, that's 69th best in college football. Got to get better inside the red zone as well. The team we're going up against is 100% one of the best, tied for best in all of college football through 2 games. Turnover margin, we've had one, we've gotten one, so we're at 0 and 62nd best in college football. Penalties per game, 5.5. Got to bring those down a little bit, guys. That's 57th best in college football. So as you can see, we have some things to work on as a team there. Flipping over to the other team, the other side of the field where Western Kentucky comes in. Now, granted, Western Kentucky's not exactly played stellar competition. They opened up the season with USF, and then they played Houston Christian, a team that's in the same division as Youngstown State, but does not have the reputation that the Penguins do. Individually for the Hilltoppers, Austin Reed is 56 of 83 passing for 589 yards, 6 touchdowns, no INTs during his first 2 games. They don't run the football very much. Davian Irvin Poindexter is their leading rusher. He's carried the ball 15 times, only 78 yards. Now, their best receiver has been injured. Easton Messer has picked up the slack, 11 receptions, 134 yards, 1 touchdown, but they spread the football out. On the other side of the ball, leading the team with 11 tackles is a tie between Talik Allen and Jaquez Evans. Jaquez Evans, excuse me. Easy enough for me to say. Jaquez Evans. Yes, 3 sacks for Kendrick Simpkins. He leads the team in that department. They have 3 guys with 1 interception. Upton Stout, Desmond Baker, and Aaron Key. 3 guys have also forced a fumble on defense. Again, Allen, Simpkins, and Evans have all done so. In the kicking department, Lucas Camiro, 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 42, and he's 12 of 12 for extra points. As a team, the Hilltoppers, they're getting 449 yards per game. That's 41st best in college football. Their third down conversion percentage of 423 is only 69th. It is better than Ohio State by quite a bit, but not exactly stellar. Red zone scoring, look at that, perfect. Every time they get in the red zone, they're getting points. That's tied for first best in all of college football, obviously. Total defense, though, 120th. They do give up some yards. So where Ohio State is really, really good defensively, statistically, in total defense, not so much there for the Hilltoppers. In fact, Ohio State's 4th in college football, which is really good, where the Hilltoppers are 120th. Really need to take advantage of that. Turnover margin. They are getting the football, though. So it's feast or famine on that defense. 3 turnovers this year. That's tied for 3 plus, that is. That is tied for first in all of college football. Penalties per game, they're a little worse than Ohio State, believe it or not. 6.5 per game. 84th is their ranking in all of college football in that department. So as you can see when looking at those statistics and just overview, just in total looking at this game, this is going to offer Ohio State a lot of potential to do a couple things. Number one, we're going to find out how good this defense is. This is an offense that is going to challenge us, especially through the air. We're going to see how well our secondary has improved. how sound they are defensively. Can we get home and create pressure and havoc on the defensive line? We've not really done that yet through the first two games. We're going to have to do that if you're going to beat a better opponent like a Notre Dame, which is just right around the corner. So this is going to offer at least that look on the defensive side. And on the offensive side, this is not a very good defense. Can we score some points? We've scored 23 in the first game, 35 in the second game. Can we crack the 40s? I think that can happen. That can happen. I believe we're going to be somewhere around 45, somewhere in that department, 42. And I think this defense is going to be challenged a little bit. I do think they're going to put up some points on our defense. But at the end of the day, I think we win comfortably. I don't know that we're going to cover the spread. I think we're going to be just a little bit under the spread. But yeah, I think 45-24 was my prediction that I gave the other day. So that's a 21-point win. I think the spread is 27.5. So I'm going with the under. Ohio State hasn't covered a spread in quite a few games, to be honest with you. So that is something that we need to look at there as well if you're in the betting department. But excited for this game. I hope you are as well. Please hit that like button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, all those good things. It really does help the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Enjoy the game. 8 o'clock Sunday night. Be here. Myself, Chris, Brandon from Big Banter Sports. He will be here. Looking forward to having a good time with all of you in the chat. And we want to make sure that that you make this your home Sunday night to talk Buckeye football heading into that work week. Nothing better than to talk about a Buckeye win, because that's what we're expecting this weekend. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We'll see y'all Sunday night. Go Bucks.